In the morning and never after 4:30 in the afternoon.
I am not Paul Ross.
Oh, no.
Paul Ross is over in America chasing the Yankee dollar. Has his show taken place yet? He's doing ghosties and ghoulies in a pen in Philadelphia. Those are all correct statistics, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Has he done it yet?
I've got no idea. I think he probably has. He's coming back on... No, he probably hasn't, actually. I've got no idea.
You're his radio chum. I thought you'd be up to date.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Right, okay, I get it, yeah. And so, is he going to be back next week? When's he back?
He's back on Monday.
Back on Monday. Let the joy be unconfined. In the meantime, of course, he's hoping beyond hope that the show gets picked up by America, because the money that's available to people who are a success in American television, and the list of British people who are doing it over there is ever growing. We seem to be flavour of the month. But the cash that they will back up to your house on American TV is, well, normal people like you and me. We can't even begin to imagine it. So he'll be the rich one in the family. As soon as he gets back, I'll be asking him for if he can spare a dime.
He's quite tight, though.
Well, that's easy for you to say when he's 3,500 miles away.
Well, exactly. He never gets around in.
No.
Never.
Well, he's never bought me a drink.
No.
Mind you, I've never met him other than briefly in passing in the office. But I will hold that against him.
Best to, really.
This is Martin and Steve, my glamorous assistants. You were just attending to a corral of eager young things, weren't you, Steve?
One of my meetings.
Ah, right. They are, they're work experience people, right?
Well, one of them was, yeah.
Oh, just the one?
Just the one, yeah.
And they all seem so very eager.
Yeah, they wear me out, actually. I'm quite tired now. If I could have a little snooze just for a while you're on the radio, is that right?
Of course. Next 2.5 hours, there won't be anything happening here. You go right ahead.
Thank you.
So what do they come in and they're just so keen and thrilled and ready to go, and it's also very exciting, and they've got spangles in their eyes, and then you set them straight about
I say,
continuous...
don't come to this business.
Yes, exactly. That's what I say. Everybody who ever calls me up and say, how'd you get into radio? Or I want to be a DJ. Because these days, rather than, in my day, people wanted to be a DJ. Now, people are just much more vague. They just want to be famous, regardless of how it is that they achieve such fame.
You need to work. You need to be here early in the morning. You need to know your lines. Turn up on time.
That's not what you're telling them, is it? That's completely untrue.
They're not actors. They don't need to learn any lines.
Yeah.
Aren't they?
There's no script involved here. Well, if there is, then I'm afraid I haven't learnt my lines.
It's that kind of... I'm trying
You need to turn yourself up a bit.
I'm trying to
There you go.
make them, I don't know, they need to work hard. It's not a glamorous business we're in radio. It's not glamorous. It's tiring and miserable, and...
There's no money in it. You have to be prepared to work ridiculously unsociable hours at weekends and at all times of the day, night and early mornings.
Yeah, but let's face it. Be honest, boys. It's not actually like work, is it?
No, because we get to work with people like you, Nick Abbott, and Paul Ross, and Ian Lee, and James O'Brien, and I can tell everyone that it doesn't get any better than that.
Right, well, apart from the dripping sarcasm, it's not actually like work,
What do you mean?
Is it?
There's no sarcasm there.
Even when we're at work, it's not really like work. Not what normal people would call work. I mean, we're not stripped to our waists and digging at the coalface, are we? We're not even sitting in an office looking out the window. Well, let me take that back. Sometimes we do. We're sit in an office and look out the window. I'm looking out the window right now. Oh, it's lovely out there.
You can't see anything from where you're looking at.
Well, in my mind, I'm looking out of a window, which has a much better view than the window that's in front of me, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, you're right. It's not a proper job. I've done proper jobs. Have you done proper jobs?
Oh, no end of them.
Yeah.
No end of office-based work.
Yeah.
Which was what I got into after I left university, because basically I didn't know what... Well, I did know what I wanted to do, but every time I told somebody I want to be a DJ, of course the result is much hilarity all round. They just, that's usually the response you get. And so I went and did one of these, fill out a 100 questionnaire. That's a terrible way. You see, I should have learnt the script.
Who's the broadcaster?
I've got no idea. If we all pull together as a team, we'll get through it.
Psychometric test, you mean?
That's exactly the right phrase, the psychometric test. And the result was that I should be in public relations, which is so far wide of the mark.
The dark arts.
Yeah, it's, well, public relations is being, is buttering people up and being nice and smarmy. And
You'd be great at that.
Awful. Just about the worst thing that anybody could come up with. So fortunately, I, after only a decade of nothing at all, I eventually made it to... Well, made it's not really quite the right phrase, is it? I'm so depressed. If only I could go back 25 years and listen to my own advice.
Would you have changed your career? Would you have done what you're doing now?
Well, if the alternative is doing any of those jobs that I did out of university, which were all, as I say, office-based, and I worked in enough offices to know that they're all exactly the same. It doesn't matter what the it doesn't matter what the actual purpose being achieved in the office is. It doesn't matter which business you work for. Every office is exactly the same, which is why The Office, the TV program, rang so true with everybody, because it doesn't matter what business you are in, all offices are the same, full of people who either have undying lust or hatred for everyone that's around them. And the little petty arguments about, oh, that's my coat hanger, or you're using my coffee, or isn't it your turn to make the tea? And it's all these petty, silly arguments that just swirl around and become so important to your life, and I just couldn't be doing with it. So I knew that I couldn't work in an office. The only other two things I've ever wanted to do were being a skiing instructor.
Very glam.
I suppose so, yeah. There's no money in it, mind. But then there's no money in this.
But you're on the piste every day, aren't you?
Yeah,
which is quite
that's
good.
very true, yeah. Or being a gardener. I think there must be a tremendous amount of satisfaction involved in being a gardener.
Yeah, bad pay, though.
Yeah, but you're outside, you see. It's not,
You say that. Gardeners get very well paid now, actually.
Well, the guys on the TV do.
Yeah, there's a big business in kind of landscape gardening and things. They charge a fortune. I live in Richmond, and you see you see loads and loads of vans doing these big houses and doing the gardens out the back, and they're getting a fortune.
Well, they're not. I know somebody who does that, and he's not getting a fortune. Maybe the guy who owns the company that sends them out is getting a fortune.
Yeah, there's money in it, though.
Yeah.
There's more money than you think.
I think that working at Kew Gardens could quite well be one of the best jobs in the world. Because, I mean, there's a place that I would happily spend £25 to go and visit. I just did the other day. Oh, it was fabulous. Remember those 2 days that we had of summer before being plunged into autumn? Well, I spent one of those wandering around Kew Gardens, thinking, how fantastic if this was your work environment. You'd be bouncing out of bed to go and work at Kew. You get to cycle around as well, whereas everybody else gets to walk. But apart from being a skiing instructor and a gardener, this is the only thing I've ever really wanted to do. So I'm stuck with it, really. Like I said, I'm so depressed. What a bad way to start the day. This is LBC, I'm Nick Abbott, in for Paul Ross, and we're going away to come back.
Everything is going extremely well.
Of course you could, Steve. Just force yourself. You'll thank yourself later. The weather. Good grief. I'll get into that in just a moment. Can you believe it? It's Mr. Lister.
Good afternoon, Nick.
Hey, Phil.
You were talking about these people doing work experience at a radio station.
Yeah.
Have you ever done a radio program in your underwear?
No.
I did. In the early 80s...
I don't wish to know that.
In the early 80s, I did about 5 years on hospital radio, which was great fun.
Hey, DJ!
Yes, and I used to go up to the radio station studios I had a moped, 50cc moped. And on this one day, I got halfway there, and the most torrential storm came down. And I got to the hospital, I was soaking wet. So I went in, I thought, my God, I can't touch the deck, because otherwise I'm going to sort of...
Short yourself.
Yeah, really light up the studio. So anyway, I had a word with the reception. I said, can you arrange to send a white coat up for me? Or something, Yes, yeah.
Right, yeah, they have those, they have those excellent gowns that, that don't tie at the back.
Well, anything to cover my,
Yeah.
So anyway, they said, yes, sure, we'll arrange it. So I went up there, stripped off, and started arranging. Fortunately, nobody else was in there. I did it all myself. And anyway, it was about an hour before they finally got round to sending somebody up with something for me. So I did this an hour.
In the naughty naked nude?
Well, it was down to the underwear anyway. And it was, quite an experience.
One of the most unpleasant stories I've ever heard.
It was really good. I mean, people take the mick out of hospital radio sometimes.
Yeah.
But it is really interesting. The hospital I did it at was the hospital is no longer there. It's been demolished and replaced.
That's how successful you were.
Well, it was a hospital for people that were mentally handicapped, Nick, and it was really interesting. Used to go round before the show started, talking to them and.
Begging you to stop.
No, didn't.
Got any requests?
No, didn't. We had. Oh yes, it was the same request every week.
Please stop.
No. We had. I tell you, it was tie a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree every week, and we had all the Boney M songs and.
Agadoo-doo-doo.
Yeah, and because we could play what we wanted, so we sort of used to. We had to be very careful what sort of music we played. It wasn't sort of screaming, what's name type of music. So we sort of.
None of that. Or this, in fact.
No, we didn't play that.
Very, very bad. Bad
so
form.
they like comedy records. They like country and western. It was, it was 5 years that gave me. I hope it gave the people in there a lot of happiness. But anyway, you'll be very pleased to know, Nick, that I'm not going to do the USA Today's 25 this week.
Good. Well, what is it? Just
dear.
So I know what I'm missing.
It's 25 people who have enriched our lives.
Well, that's actually not bad. 25 people who have enriched our lives.
But this is remember, this is America.
Well, maybe we should do that, maybe we should make that as a list, because the list yesterday, I can't remember what the list yesterday was. What was it? I've forgotten what it was now. I don't listen to this show. What was it, boys?
The Crankies were on it, I remember that.
The worst form of entertainment.
Oh, worst form of entertainment.
That's very negative. Well, I like the idea of doing something positive.
Well, do you want me to just give a few from the list?
So it's people who have enriched our lives.
Yeah, enriched by people. Nelson Mandela's there, Princess Diana's there, Lance Armstrong's there.
What, the guy on the bike?
Yeah, he's there.
Right.
Arthur Ashe.
Paul Ross on the list.
Oprah Winfrey.
Unfortunately not.
Oprah Winfrey.
I'm guessing.
And what about the women's US soccer team? They're there.
Why?
Well, it says that. It just says that the woman, she scoring the final penalty kick, tore off her jersey, showing a sports bra, fell to her knees, fist clenched in victory.
Right, so it's got nothing to do with the football and more to do with...
Well, I don't know, I suppose they felt, it was wonderful.
Being a stunner.
Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Got paid a lot of money for hitting people in the head, yes.
Bono's there.
Bongo? Oh, come on.
Oh, yeah. It says here that he inspired people as an activist for Africa and poor countries.
He inspired people that it was okay to wear sunglasses indoors.
Steve Irwin's there.
Steve Irwin.
The crocodile man.
Oh, come on. The guy who used to torture animals for our entertainment.
Well, that's as I say, that's why I wasn't going to... Number 25 is an interesting one.
Well, let me just drop upon Steve Irwin for a second. This is the guy who used to upset wild animals for our televisual amusement, wasn't it? And people were... There was much wailing of teeth and gnashing and... I just didn't get Steve Irwin. He didn't seem like a nat... I mean, when was the last time you saw, Attenborough, whatever his name is?
Yeah.
Not Dickie Attenborough, the other one. What's the other one?
Richard.
Yeah.
No, Richard, no.
Richard Attenborough, the actor. David Attenborough, that's right. When was the last time you saw David Attenborough drag a crocodile out of a river by its tail, just to make it angry?
I mean, would you take a baby to meet a crocodile?
No. Not even my own.
No. I mean, I must admit, I agree with you, Nick, on that. And,
Anyway, but he's in the list,
he's
right?
number 21. Number 25 is that little boy that was in the boat coming from Cuba. Do you remember there was all this debate, should he go back and...
Elian
Gonzalez.
Yeah, how can I remember that?
Yeah.
I've got no idea what my PIN number is, and I can remember the name of some kid in a boat who couldn't get into Florida.
Yeah. Michael J. Fox, number 13.
For being ill, not for being an actor.
That's it.
Right.
Mother Teresa's at number 10.
Well, how can you leave her off
Hey,
the
she's
list?
not American, though. She shouldn't be in the
No,
list.
it doesn't have to be American. It's people that enriched
Americans' lives. Right. Mr. McDonald.
Yeah. Arthur Ashe, the tennis player.
Why? Why Arthur Ashe? Because
he protested apartheid in South Africa and handled tragedy, it says here.
Well, we all handle tragedy.
Yeah. Mother Teresa.
I'm handling very well myself right now, as a matter of fact.
Oh, yeah, perhaps you'll be in the list in the next 25 years.
Yeah.
I'm sure Ian will, when he keeps going back to America.
Yeah, everyone's left. This is like the,
I think I know why
the
Ian's
Mary
gone to
Celeste, this place here. Go on.
I think I found out why.
Money.
No, there was a story in today's, I think it was the Daily Mail. There's a competition taking place in America of people who look like famous people. And there's 2 pages in today's Daily Mail.
Yes.
Now, they had a big party for lookalikes in Las Vegas.
Yeah. Is that what that was?
Yes. Is that why he's gone, Martin?
Paul, yeah, I'm trying to think who is a lookalike for. Cher, I think.
Oh.
Some of them, well, and 1 or 2 did for about a second, but after that, it sort of gave up on it.
And depending on which paper you read, they're all either spitting images or laughably dissimilar to whoever it is that they're pretending to be. Yeah.
Number 1, Nick.
Number 1, yes. Big roll of the drums.
Heroes, they say.
Who?
The 9/11 heroes. The people on United Flight 93.
Now, there's a film that's been on the my satellite provider for the last couple of weeks or so, and everybody gives it a 5-star rating. But I can't bring myself to watch it. Why would I can't imagine why anybody made the film in the first place. Why would you want to sit down and watch that?
Yeah, it does. I thought that. Why would you want to? But
yeah, I mean, they're not telling us anything we don't know. We know how it ends. It ends awfully.
Yeah. It's, as I say, I can't wait for next week's list. I don't know what it is next week. Oh, yes, 25 things that are vanishing.
25 things that are vanishing?
Yes. So I don't know what's... I suppose the polar ice caps, I suppose, or...
Oh, very controversial, Philip.
George Bush.
George Bush will be vanishing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no question about that. All right, Philip, you've given us a lot to think about, as usual.
Okay, Nick.
Good job. Ta-ta.
Bye.
This is LBC. I'm Nick Abbott, in for Paul. Paul's gone to America. Ian's up sticks and gone to America now. Is that right?
He's in Vegas.
I heard him saying that last night. Jenny, she's gone. There's no one left.
She's in Oz.
They've all gone to chase...
Jenny's back on June the 9th, though.
To chase the mucho dinero that they'll get from TV and stage work. Is Jenny gone to do the monologues thing?
Grumpy Old Women live,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, like I said, the monologues. Huh. And you walk in and it's like I said, it's like the boat that they found drifting without staff. There's just no one here. I'm only here because I was just passing. They said, "Do you know anything about radio?" I said, "Well, I've got one in the kitchen." They said, "Great, you're hired." We should get some of those work experience people in. They're keen. They'll do it. I could sit back, put my feet up, I could make them tea.
And they don't charge.
And they look way better than us.
Well, that's because they're 18, 19-year-old kids, aren't they? So.
Here is Croydon. Oh, Nick.
Hi there.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah, well, I'm a gardener.
You're a gardener?
I am.
What kind of a gardener?
General maintenance and landscaping.
Okay.
And I used to work in an office.
Yeah.
For 10 years. My last job was actually as a broker consultant for a big insurance company.
And you couldn't stand it anymore?
No, I got made redundant. And by complete fluke, my other half, one day when we were weeding the garden, said, "Why don't you do this?"
And how's it working out?
Wonderful. Just started my 6th year.
You love it, right?
It's brilliant.
I think it would be fantastic to be working outside, even on a day like today, to be working outside. Yeah. And is there any money in it?
There can be, yes. I'm making a reasonable amount.
Right, I'll tell you what. Thanks a lot for that, Nick. I'm during the course of this break, I'm out to buy a shovel.
I enjoy working with people.
Particularly if they're keen. Isn't that right? The weather. Good grief. Have you ever seen anything like it in your life? By the way, I like that the thing that Philip was saying. How about something positive, and then tomorrow I'll do things that are vanishing. If it weren't for him, we'd have no show. People that have enriched our lives. That sounds like an uplifting and positive thing in the face of the grim nightmare that's happening outside. 0870 9090 973. People who have enriched our lives. It's, I know that most people enjoy calling and moaning. If you give them a negative topic, then they'll just love it. But try and a glint of positivity. Warm up your life. People that have enriched our lives. Let's see if we can't be more positive today.
Surely Tony Blair's got to head that list.
You're not sounding very positive. Again with the sarcasm.
Closely followed by Gordon Brown.
Gordon Brown, yes. And I play that sound effect because that seems to be the way he breathes. He's got this really weird thing, Gordon Brown, in the way maybe he doesn't have the ability to breathe through his nose, but when he breathes in, his jaw drops, and he breathes in through his mouth. It's really
He has got a funny mouth.
It's just, it's really quite weird, the way he breathes in. It's like, as though he's gasping for his last breath. That and the continual finger biting, it's just, there's cause for concern, really, isn't it? I mean, if a man bites his fingers down, literally to the quick, to the point that you couldn't get any more fingernail between your teeth, then you'd think that there's something wrong there. Is that the man that we want to put our future in whose hands we want to put our future? That was a better sentence. Anyway, the weather. Crawling here in the car. Why is it that even with all the modern technology that goes into a motor vehicle, the slightest hint of mist in the air brings all traffic to a grinding halt? I've never been able to understand that. I mean, it's not as though that you'll be travelling at 70 miles an hour and you just want to slow down in the centre of London. You're crawling along at 10 anyway. But so why does a slight bit of moisture on the road make everything come to a juddering halt? Anyway, there's a lot more of that to look forward to. But other people are far worse off. Freak snow, freezing temperatures, and tropical storms across Europe are making the bank holiday washout here look almost pleasant. In Spitzing, in Germany, locals have been forced to wrap up after almost a foot of snow.
We're looking at 10 inches.
Brought out snowplows for the first time this year. Snow. It's practically, am I right? It's practically June. It's just a couple of days away, right? And it's just actually speechless. It was the same story in towns close to the Alps in Austria and Switzerland, and even northern Italy, where temperatures in May routinely climb into the 80s. In one Swiss valley, 3,000 people were trapped in hotels and guest houses because trains could not reach them in the snow. On the Mediterranean island of Corsica, 2 hikers died in freezing fog. And further north, in cities like Berlin, tropical storms have brought 4 days of chaos, dumping hailstones as big as golf balls, uprooting trees, and causing widespread flooding. And it's all thanks to global warming. Hip hip?
Yeah.
Here is Richmond. Jeffrey.
Yeah, that positive thing is a good thing to respond to, I think, because you're totally correct that we as English people tend to the whinging side of human nature rather than the exaltation and praise side.
Yeah, despite the fact that they always end it with mustn't grumble.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, that sort of a resigned state of mind where you just have to put up with that which is not really satisfactory. But I just want to sing the praises of a person who ever invented a water closet, because I think that's in the sense that you don't have to, if you're caught short in the night or any time during the day, you don't have to hang around in the house with rather unpleasant bits of organic matter. Brilliant.
Never one syllable when 20 will do.
And also, can I mention another one?
Go on.
Florence Nightingale, because people used to die in hospitals, they'd go to hospitals, and then she came along and said, wouldn't it be a good idea if we cleaned up the places where people were sick and actually gave people medical care in a compassionate manner? And I think that what a brilliant idea that was, and it came from a woman. Isn't that incredible? all the way back in Victoria's time.
And they're still saying that today. Yeah.
Yes.
One day they'll get around to it. That's right. So Florence Nightingale, and it was Mr. Crapper is the chap who invented the water closet. Amusingly enough, isn't that right?
Fantastic.
I believe that's his name.
The name goes with the process as well, doesn't it?
Well, only because he's the fellow that invented it. If it had been Mr. Smith, then we'd all be going to a Smith. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. But he's a good man. I like him.
Well, I'm sure he responds in kind.
Yeah, he speaks highly of me up in toilet heaven.
Well, enjoy his products at your leisure.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeffrey.
Bye.
Cheers, mate. Ta-ra. Got any for this list? People who have enriched our lives.
We're all a bit cynical in the enriched lives department.
Well, I'm determined to,
Davina McCall!
Oh!
And I was going to go through the show without mentioning Big Brother, because I thought this is probably the last day of the summer that we'll, such as it is, the summer, that we'll be able to actually go through a day without thinking about it at least once. Because the papers have already started ramping up the coverage, and it hasn't even started yet. The front page of the Super Soaraway is, I can't remember what the sliver on the other side of the page was, but by far the biggest story on the front page, which is all headline, Man U star's cousin on BB. That's like, there might as well have been Man U star's cousin's fishmonger's dog's Walker is on BB. And when they say Man U stars, the word star is being used loosely. If I said to you Man U star, you'd think immediately, well, nothing apparently. Who would you think immediately?
Kieran Richardson.
Is not the right answer. That's not who you'd think. You are such a nightmare. See, this is what Paul told me before he came in. He said, "Oh, I pity you." He said, "This is why I'm going to America. It's got nothing to do with the show. I just can't stand it anymore." Kieran Richardson is the correct answer, but he's hardly a star, is he? I mean,
he's a well-known Manchester United player, but no, he's not Rooney or Ronaldo.
No, exactly right. And most people who don't follow football, which would presumably be most people in the country, would have got no idea who this fella is. Anyway, his cousin. A sexy cousin. Oh, well, that's a good job. Of Man United star Kieran Richardson will enter the Big Brother house tonight. Beauty Charlie, 20, is one of 12 hopefuls to make it into the reality show. She joins a lap dancer, a nanny, a former child genius, a Women's Institute member. More story on pages 4 and 5, and I couldn't bear the pain. So that's what we're going to be stuck with for the next... however long it goes on for. How long does this mess go on for? It's months, isn't it? Because they've got no other shows, so they just blanket coverage of this. So I thought, let's be positive. So far we've got the inventor of the toilet, and there's no doubt about that. He has enriched our lives. Where would we be without him in a field? Unfortunately, there aren't any more of those, so it would be decidedly unpleasant in the centre of London, that's for sure. Florence Nightingale for attempting to clean up the hospitals. Maybe she did a good job in them days, but these days, because I was just recently in hospital. I had a near-death experience. It's amazing I look so well. And in the ward that I was in, the cleaner came round right enough, but really only to show his face. It was it was almost invisible, the cleaning that he was done. He waved a mop in the general direction of the floor. It didn't go into corners or take dust off shelves and those screens that go around that have, there's the scaffolding that they pull a curtain across when you get an injection or having to, because you can't use Mr. Crapper's device, you have to do it, right there where you're lying. When they pull the screen across, giant chunks of black matter, which I'm guessing is the dead skin of previous people whose lives expired in the bed that you're lying in, just fall on your face as they... So cleaning is really not something that they do at all. So Florence has to go on the list for at least making an effort. Stuart.
Hello, Nick.
Hey, Stuart.
I've got a couple. The one I rang in about first, he wasn't a perfect man, but how about Sir Freddie Laker for the Skytrain and the cheap flights abroad?
Yes.
You want people who enrich your lives.
Yeah, and I think he's definitely one of them. He was the first of the people that made it such that people other than top people could go abroad. Yeah.
And he designed he put forward the idea for the BAC 111 plane.
Right, well, that's a bit too complicated for us. Let's just stick with Freddie Laker, yeah.
Yeah, no, he did that as well.
Yeah, right. Oh, okay. Well, so he's on the list. He's on the list for two things.
Yep, and the other one that I suddenly thought, along with your Mr. Crapper, I don't know who invented it, but soft toilet paper.
Good thought, Stuart. Thanks.
Whoever invented that.
It deserves a warm congratulations. Yeah, absolutely right. This is LBC.
Abbott.
Right, so what are we doing?
Carol, we're doing the people who have enriched our lives. And so far we've got, and I hesitate before I say it, but it was the fellow's name, right enough, Mr. Crapper. Although I do believe that there is some confusion about whether he invented it or whether it was somebody else. But we can't concern ourselves with petty details like that. Huh?
He didn't, Mr. Crapper.
Well, he invented
He invented the valve, I think, that let the go down the drain. I think that's what he did.
Did he not invent the actual box of water that sat...
No, he didn't do that. Somebody else did that.
Oh, right. Well, he popularised it because his name was written on it. I've seen a picture of it.
See, marketing. It's all about spin and marketing.
That's right, yeah. You don't have to be first, you just have to be the most famous, yeah. Florence Nightingale, the most famous nurse of all time. Sir Freddie Laker, God bless you, sir. And the chap who invented soft toilet paper. We don't know who he is, or she, in fact, but we would like to shake them warmly by our freshly cleaned hands. New Malden. Oh, Mohammed.
Hi.
Hey, Mohammed.
I think Bill Gates has enriched our lives to an extent, don't you think?
Yes, there's no question about that. I mean, many a time you'd want to throttle him, you know, and, as you've just thrown your computer out the window. But you'd have to say, on balance...
Where would I live without it?
Yeah, precisely right. You'd have to go out and buy your music instead of downloading it for free.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, it started off with the DOS, and people really didn't understand it that much. But then now you've got all the Windows and the Office, and now every office that that obviously you found so boring would have to have at least sort of 5 or 6 applications that have been made by him or his company. So.
Yes, and now it's almost an evil creep, really, because now we can't do without it. Yet, 20 years ago, there was hardly a business that had them on each desk.
They had it, yeah, exactly. And now it's on your mobile phones as well. Quite a lot of the applications, which are built by Microsoft, and a lot of the even like the TomTom, for example, that would use Microsoft software as a platform in order for it to run its GPS software. And
right. You don't work in computers by any chance, do you, mate?
I do, I'm working on it.
I thought so. Okay, all right, thanks a lot. Bill Gates on the list, yeah. It's people that have enriched our lives. And, yeah, I mean, his products have given me great cause for grief in the past, but it does, there's no doubt about it. If it was all taken away from us now, we'd be lost without emails and... Although, like I said, only 20 years ago, we did without any of this stuff, and yet businesses were successful, people communicated with each other, life went on without having to call each other every 10 seconds on our mobile phones. You have to actually get a 10-pence piece, it was a 2p piece back then, and stick it in a phone, and stand in a puddle of someone else's urine to make a phone call, which is why so very few phone calls used to be made back then. And now, of course, I'm on the train and I'm walking up the driveway, I'm putting the key in the lock now, and it's because it's you've paid for the calls, you're going to make them. Great tumours growing in your ear. Or not, depending on which scientists you believe. But the advance of modern communications technology is staggering, really, when you consider in the 1970s, none of us had any of it. And yet, the world seemed to march on. Curious, eh? How about, always there. Hey, Louise.
Hi, Nick.
Hey, I saw that programme about, I finally caught up with the, who's that impresario fellow, the short, fat guy with a beard?
Thingy, weird-looking guy.
Yeah, the guy who puts all the big shows on. What's his name? Harvey Goldsmith. Yeah. Yes, I finally caught up with that programme. Harvey Goldsmith went to a radio station in Frinton-on-Sea. Where's Frinton-on-Sea? Sounds...
Essex.
Essex?
Yeah.
Right.
It's lovely there. It's very small.
Yeah, I'm sure,
Nothing to do, though.
Nothing lovelier than the seaside in Essex, yeah. Frinton, why... and you went to work at that radio station.
Yes.
Why are they in Frinton?
Because that's where the ship used to be.
That's where the ship used to be, because they call themselves the Big L.
Station, yeah.
And people with a very long memory remember the pirates, and one of which used to be called Big L, and that was a boat, right?
Yeah.
It used to be anchored off Frinton, which is why they went and made a land-based radio station called the Big L, and they put it in Frinton because that's where the boats used to be near.
Yeah.
Already, it makes no sense to me.
Well,
And so that programme was properly hilarious, because he was just really butting heads with these people from the moment he stepped through the door, really. I mean, you'd think if Harvey Goldsmith comes to try and sort your business out, you'd be listening intently to every word he says, because there's a man who has money pouring out of poor, really.
Yeah, I quite like some of the things that he said. He wasn't trying to change them too much. But I think, well, they weren't arrogant or anything like that.
Yes, they were.
No,
they absolutely were.
In real life, they weren't.
Right,
they
okay.
just believed so much more.
I thought that the TV company did edit them to make them look in the worst possible light. Listen, Louise, I've got to go for a break. Okay, who did you have for the list?
I had Marconi.
Marconi, good choice. All right, thanks a lot for that. Marconi is on the list. This is LBC. Do you fancy seeing the best films first and for free? Of course you do. Well, you can with LBC's 97.3 Film Club in association with Cineworld Cinemas. This month's must-see movie is Ocean's 13, which apparently is a lot better than Ocean's 12, which got critical drubbing. And it doesn't really matter whether they get critical drubbing or not. Like Pirates of the Caribbean, everyone hated that. It's just made more money than God. But Ocean's 13 is supposed to be just the very thing. George Clooney and Brad Pitt, Al Pacino and Elliot Gould. How could you go wrong? It doesn't cost a penny to join this. You could be going every month to see the best new movies in town before everybody else gets to see them. Just log on to our website, lbc.co.uk, join the LBC Listener Club. It's as simple as that. And once you are a member, you can click to request your tickets, and we. And that's where the sentence finishes. What's the rest of that? What's the rest of that sentence? Yeah, it's a cliffhanger, that's right. Part 2 for next year. This read will return. It's like the end of the James Bond movies. Simply log on to lbc.co.uk, join the LBC Listener Club. It's as simple as that. Once you are a member, you can click to request your tickets, and we. And that's all the information I have. But we absolutely guarantee that that's correct. Whatever follows that is our guarantee to you. The LBC 97.3 Film Club in association with Cineworld Cinemas. Don't say that stuff off the air. You must say it on. I'm compiling a list of positivity, because yesterday was all about the negative, and we do like to moan in this country, so I thought, let's be up and happy, despite the weather, in spite of the weather. And I've just seen the 5-day forecast, by the way, and it's like this for as far as the eye can see. Isn't that upsetting? Raining and raining and raining. At least it's not snowing. We should, thank our lucky stars that it could be a lot worse than this. And he's checking to see if I'm telling the truth. Go ahead, click on weather, I double dare you. Mind you, on the BBC weather page, they do tend to change their minds on an hourly basis. See, rain, followed by rain, followed by rain. Oh, a little bit of sunshine.
Saturday's not bad.
So they say now, I bet they change their mind by tomorrow. And Sunday, more rain. But at least it's getting warmer. So we'll drown, but we'll be pleasantly warm. Or tepid. It'll be tepid. So that's what I thought. We'll be positive and come up with a list of people who have enriched our lives. So far, I hesitate to say it, but it's the chap who... Well, if he didn't invent the actual toilet, what did he invent? Mr. Crapper.
The valve that flushed it away.
The valve?
Yeah. It's the same with Marconi. He didn't invent radio.
Didn't he invent radar?
No, he didn't invent radio, Marconi.
But did he invent radar? I thought radar was the thing.
No, not radar either. Didn't invent that either.
Well,
it's a good list, isn't it?
Yeah. None of these people have invented anything. So there was Mr. Crapper, Florence Nightingale, for trying to clean up the hospitals. They're still trying. Sir Freddie Laker, God bless you, ma'am, for making it possible for anybody and everybody to leave this country, which we all did as soon as we possibly could. The inventor of soft toilet paper, Bill Gates, and Marconi, whatever he did.
Let's get back to it.
So they've got our money and they're going to spend it. They just spent, they didn't mention how much that Grayson Perry artwork cost. 100 grand, I would imagine. I mean, his stuff goes for a fortune. Have you ever seen one of his pots? They really are extraordinary works. I thought he was just a freak, but he's a very talented artiste, yeah. And somebody who's as famous as that, his artwork will go for an absolute fortune. And don't you find it slightly incredible that they're using our money to buy this stuff with and put in their own offices? Every year in autumn... Why did it take me so long to come up with autumn? There's only 4 seasons, and I ran through them all. Autumn was the last one. In autumn, there's a thing called Open Quay, I think that's what they call it, where they open a lot of public buildings for you to go and wander around and gaze in amazement at the amount of our money they've spent on themselves. And one of them that I spent some time in last time was the Department of Culture, Media and Sport. And the cash that they've thrown away on art to line their own offices is absolutely staggering. I mean, it's like museum pieces that they've just selected for their own amusement with our money. Desks. You know, if you're in an office, you can get by with an ordinary desk that you can buy IKEA. Okay, so you're a minister, so you'd want to get a step up with that. You could go to Harrods. You could buy a desk for £1,000, but even that wasn't enough. The head of that department has got a custom-made desk with inlaid wood. It must have cost. Have you ever had furniture made, like one-off pieces? It costs an absolute fortune. I mean, you can't begin to imagine how much it costs, because you get used to buying furniture that's, that comes as a flat pack, or they make thousands and thousands of the same piece over and over, and so the economy of scale means that furniture generally is relatively cheap. But if you get it made, it just costs a fortune. You get a wooden desk with custom inlay made, 20 grand. I mean, but the thing with them is that they've got our money, and they've really got no idea what to do with it. They have so much of it. Portcullis House, I believe, is still, per square foot, the most expensive office building in the world. Here is Burton-on-Trent. Oh, Aid.
Hello, Nick. How you doing?
I am all right, mate.
Yeah, you was on about This Is Your Life the other week. Have you heard that they actually rehashed it and it's coming back?
Yes, and they're bringing it back with Mr. Personality himself, Trevor McDonald. Why him?
I don't know, because I thought, is he another one that just gets bored because, he gave up the News at 10 thing?
I thought he was still doing the News at 10.
No, not as far as I know.
Who's doing the News at 10 now?
Sorry?
Is that common knowledge? Is Trevor McDonald not doing the News at 10?
It's not even on at 10.
Is he still doing it? Yes. We think he's still doing it.
I thought the chap who just marched into ITV to shake 'em up and save 'em, Michael Grade, I thought he was going to bring back News at 10 with the nation's favourite, Trevor McDonald. I don't know whether he's done that or not. I hardly ever turn ITV on, I'm afraid to say.
It's probably to happen yet.
Yeah, here's the news. Here's the news about the news. ITV, when is this? 21st of September 2000. It's
first with the news, LBC.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, we've got a story that's 7 years old. Never mind. Yeah. Anyway, Aid, carry on.
Yeah, I do remember one thing. Like you were saying how they struggled for guests on that the other week. The other week you was mentioning it vaguely. Like This Is Your Life.
Yeah, well, they stopped it because they'd done everyone, hadn't they?
I remember about 20 years ago. And bearing in mind, this is 20 years ago, they had Samantha Fox on it.
Yeah.
And she says, I think like Mark Laspel-Levitt was at the time, and says, Samantha Fox, come with his book, and she says, well, I'm only 19, you having a laugh? Well, I mean, she was at the time, it's like 1920.
Yeah. No, they'd done everyone, and then they started to do people that no one had ever heard of, like retired army generals, who probably hadn't, an interesting and varied career right enough, but it wasn't really interesting to the general public. And now they're bringing it back because they can't think of anything else to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that Trevor McDonald will do a half-hour show, because that Tonight thing he does, it's called Tonight with Trevor McDonald, right enough. He's on for about a minute, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Yes, it's usually a girl. It's not quite the right phrase. A woman that I used to work with in a previous place, and I can only think of the nickname that I used to give her, which is not very fair to her to call her that now. What's the name of the female reporter who's on Tonight with Trevor McDonald, which isn't really Tonight with Trevor McDonald. You get a briefest glimpse of the fella right at the beginning, and then he goes home and counts his money, I would imagine. But it's Fiona Foster. That's it. I'm so very pleased that she's got a high-profile gig, and that I didn't kill her career by having her work opposite me.
Yeah, and you should take a leaf out of their book, and you could show up, like, for about a minute at the start of the show.
Oh, wouldn't that be fantastic? Yeah. Steve, do you fancy that? It could be, the Paul Ross Show with Nick Abbott, who's not actually here right now, but here's a jingle with his voice on.
Perfect.
I know, wouldn't it be great? This show would be a lot better without me, yeah.
Yeah, and
of that we can agree.
You're not going to be dragged into it tonight, are you?
No, I'll be dressing casually.
I mean, you're not going to be dragged into the, mess?
Well, I'd like to say no, but I'm inclined to watch it. Yeah.
Because the thing is with that show, I mean, EastEnders. If you don't like EastEnders, you just don't watch it. You can escape it. But that, it's in the sun. People at work are talking about it.
Everybody will have an opinion, one way or the other, tomorrow, whether they'll admit to watching it or not. Yes, I'm going to see it. I'll probably see it on Fast Forward. It's one of those programs that you can tut at. It's the reason that I watch BBC Breakfast News, so I can tut at it. And just feel, like, at least I'm not those people. As miserable as your life is, Aid, at least you're not those people.
Yeah, there's that. I mean, well, before we go, I'll inject with this,
Okay, I'm making a list of the people who have enriched our lives, yes.
I mean, well, not particularly, about, like, for you personally, whatever it is, like the parents. Like, you know what I mean?
No, I've got no idea what you mean. What do you mean?
Well, one's parents, then. Because they enrich your life, don't they?
Oh, one's parents?
They, like, pull up with you for years on you.
Well, they famously, very bad word, you up, don't they?
Yeah.
But I suppose without them, where would we be? Yes, you're quite right.
And there's just one more I can think of.
Go on, then. Your parents.
Is it Mr...
That's so weak. But go on. Oh, I don't know, it's just...
What about Mr. Benz? Is he the one that did the car? Is he the bloke that invented the car? Or am I wrong with that?
Mr. Ben?
Not Mr. Ben, no.
He used to do things in the changing room, didn't he?
I've got no knowledge of that. I'll leave that to the expert.
Yeah, but
Mr. Benz, the fella that invented the car. Get your mind out of the gutter. Good grief.
Because, even if you, like, personally don't think yourself, I mean, the government will certainly...
Without him, we'd be walking. Yeah, you're right. Wouldn't that be awful?
Yeah, Gordon Brown will certainly, it's certainly enriched his life. All the tax and stuff he takes off.
Oh, I see what you mean, right. That's what you mean. It was a little... I had no idea what you meant there, and then you had to explain it. Well done, Aid. As usual, good job. All right. Cheers, mate. Ta-da. So this list of people that have enriched our lives gets ever bigger. And your parents are on it. In it. We have some late-breaking news about Trevor McDonald in a minute, but first, Mill-Ill. Oh, Josh.
Hello.
Josh, how you going?
Good, thanks. Yourself?
I'm super. Thanks for asking.
Excellent. Well, I just thought we should add Comical Ali from the Iraqi information minister to the list of people who have enriched our lives.
A very controversial choice. Josh?
Well, I think at a time which was very distressing for the people of Britain and America, I think he provided a glimpse of relief and, and humour on the horizon when it was needed.
Yes, he was the light relief. He was the fella in Macbeth who relieved himself against the wall and said, knock, 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 you'll wake the dead with your knocking. That's probably not an accurate reading, but it's more or less right.
Absolutely.
Comical Ali. Yeah, amusing, except unless you're in one of Saddam's basements, lashed to the wall with electrodes up your body.
Well, absolutely, but I think he did a great service to not only to the people of Britain and America, but also to the people of Iraq as well. I'm sure they found it very amusing.
To comedy in general. All right.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot, Josh.
No problem.
Cheers, mate. I'm not sure. I'm going to put brackets around it. And then just pretend that he didn't say that. People who have enriched our lives. The fella that invented the toilet, whether or not it was Mr. Crapper. We'll just go with him, because there used to be an advert on the tube with one of those water cisterns with the name Crapper printed on it. So if he didn't invent it, then he certainly popularised it. Well done. Florence Nightingale for trying to clean the hospitals. She's still trying. Sir Freddie Laker for making it possible for people to leave the country. How many people what percentage of the population do you think are without a passport and have never left the country?
In this country, not America.
Yes, that's right, in this country. Because we like to think that we are oh so very superior to Americans, don't we? We have that, sniffy Brits. We like to think that we're just much better in every way than Americans. But you know what? We're exactly the same in every respect. Go ahead, have a guess.
40, I think.
40 people or 40%?
40%.
20%.
That's a very high figure, and when you think that you've got a surprisingly high figure, and somebody guesses, and it's double the actual figure that you had in mind, it kind of takes the wind out of your sails. So I'll just forget about that story then, shall I?
So what is it?
I'm trying to find it. I've got my excellent filing system is letting me down. Police Speeders, Royal Fishing, Buy-to-Let, Blair's Farewell Tour, CD Wow, Butlers, Best British Food, Brits Abroad. There you go. I knew I'd get to it eventually. 1 in 5 Brits has never been abroad.
What's that as a percentage?
20%. Yeah. That's what I said. I was spot on.
Absolutely spot on, yes. Your work is done.
Yep.
A quarter of those... 11% of the people in this country do not even own a passport. A quarter of those who stay in Britain say that they just prefer holidays here. But how would they know if they've never been abroad? A chink in their argument. 2% stay because they fear that they fear flying, or rather crashing. And they're doing, on a significant amount, say that they're not going abroad so as to decrease their carbon footprint. Oh, come off it. Meanwhile, 62% have never made it as far as Ireland, 31% have not visited Scotland, and 20% have never been to Wales. This is something that a satellite channel, who would dearly love me to mention their name, has come up with. And really the only reason why they conduct these surveys and stick them in the newspaper is so that they'll get a little bit of free advertising. Here is Hackney. Damien.
Hi, Nick.
Damien.
Hi, my vote goes for Walt Disney.
Walt Disney?
Yeah, he's touched the lives of millions of people around the world. Really cheerful person. Why not?
Walt Disney was a cheerful person?
Yeah, well, personally he had some problems, but he brought cheer to everybody. He's got Disneyland, Disney World, TV shows, quite happy.
Yeah.
You think so?
I don't really know that much about Walt Disney, but I think that his actual character was questionable, but the work that he left behind,
the legacy he left, I think, was really nice. He's like, I don't know, I'm from New Zealand, but we used to have Walt Disney at 6 o'clock on a Sunday. The whole family used to sit around, used to bring everyone together. I think they did the same thing here in the UK.
Well, that's a sweet picture of home life. Thanks for that, Damien.
Yeah, no worries.
Cheers,
Enjoy yourself.
All right, ta-ra. So it's Mr. Crapper, Florence Nightingale, Sir Freddie Laker, despite the fact that 20% of the people in this country have never been abroad. Soft toilet paper. Bill Gates, Marconi, for inventing...
Did he?
Well, you're the expert. You used to work at Marconi.
Well, he's the father of radio, isn't he? So, which is slightly different. He took all the little bits of radio, put them together, and made a product, and sold it. Spin again, you see.
Right. I see. So you would credit the people who invented the little bits.
The little bits, yeah.
And then he put them together.
Your Faradays and your Paulsons and all of those people.
He just put them together in a box.
Yeah, and said, hey.
And when he turned it on, there was nothing on it, because nobody had invented radio stations by then. Of course, now, hey, all sorts of exciting things to listen to. Your parents, without whom we would be nothing. Mr. Benz, we're not totally sure that he invented the car. He invented the engine. We've got really no idea. We're going to stick him on the list. Mr. Benz, in place of whoever it was that invented the car, without whom we'd have all walked here and got significantly more wet. Comical Ali, I don't really think so. And Walt Disney, sure, why not? It's a list of people who have enriched our lives, trying for a hint of positivity in this otherwise dour and gloomy existence, which has been made worse because... the madman that's running Russia, the guy with helter-skelter in his eyes, has ratcheted up his war of words with America. Vladimir Putin warned yesterday that the dangers of setting a US missile shield in Europe, and has test-fired a new nuclear missile. Do you get the feeling that we're all sort of rushing towards the third episode in Terminator? The Americans want to place parts of the shield in Poland and the Czech Republic to help protect against missile attacks from rogue states such as Iran and North Korea. So these aren't missiles that they are placing in order to attack other countries, because that would be crazy. They're just missiles that would attack missiles from other countries. It's a defence. But Russia is upset that they're defending themselves, and I don't really understand that concept. Russia is strongly opposed to the project, saying it's a threat to its national security. But the only threat would be to stop it firing rockets at us. It's actually quite disturbing. There's too many disturbing people running countries in the world. Can we agree on that? Can we have a few fewer loons as heads of state? Russia's Strategic Missile Forces Command said that the missile, which is capable of carrying multiple warheads, including nuclear ones, can beat missile defense systems. So Russia, in response to America wanting to set up missiles that will fire other missiles from the sky, Russia has now tested a missile that will avoid the missiles that can explode missiles in the sky. So it's an arms race already. And so shortly we will be at war with Iran and Iraq and North Korea and Syria and Afghanistan and Russia, and it only takes the French to get a hump and whoopee, we're all going to die. And it's raining, so that's the basis on which I would like to try and get a chink of light into our gloomy existence. Am I laying it on a bit thick?
A bit thick.
A little bit, yeah. Bethnal Green. Oh, Abdul.
Hiya.
How are you going?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Great.
Okay. I want to put a list on electricity power. I mean, the everyday life we use.
Faraday?
Was it Faraday?
I've got no idea. It was
No.
Benjamin Franklin, perhaps.
I'm not sure who invented it, but...
Mr. Watt?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure that... But I know the car was Henry Ford, wasn't it?
Well, he popularised the car by making it available to people who weren't millionaires.
Yeah.
But I don't think he actually invented it, no. But just as Freddie Laker didn't invent airplane travel, he just popularised it and made it possible for people without deep pockets. All right, so we'll say Mr. Ford. Sure, why not? That's 1 out of 2. Well done, Abdul.
All right, thanks a lot.
Cheers, mate. Ta-ra. How about Brixton? Tim?
Hi there.
Hey, Tim.
How you doing?
I'm all right.
I'd probably disagree with Florence Nightingale being there, because I've read lots of articles to say the opposite of what people do say about her, but I'd say Gandhi and Bob Marley. One or the other, I'm not sure which.
Well, then it's Gandhi. Bob Marley. I mean, he had some nice tunes, right enough, but did he enrich our lives?
Well, I think he did. He brought people together quite a lot, but yeah, Gandhi sort of proved the point that non-violence can work, which I think is a big lesson in today's world where most people still think the other way round.
And he made a worldwide impact dressed like that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Gandhi, okay. Not Bob Marley, but Gandhi. Because if Bob Marley goes on the list, then we're going to have, it's got to be Jimi Hendrix and Eric Clapton and, we'll end up with Simply Red on the list, and I wouldn't be able to stand that.
I'm not having that.
All right. But listen, excellent choice. Thanks a lot. Gandhi's on the list. Cheers, mate. This is LBC. I'm Nick Abbott, in for Paul Ross, who is off chasing mucho dinero.
From their big mouths, and out came talk. Talk.
Kim.
Yes?
Yes, Kim.
Hello?
Yes, Kim.
Who am I speaking to?
You're speaking to LBC. You're on the air
sorry,
right now.
sorry.
My name's Nick Abbott. I'm in for Paul Ross.
Okay, thank you. It's in regards to men that enriched their lives.
Yeah, what's going on in the background? It sounds like an alarm.
Oh, it's all right. I don't know why. Let me just turn. Hold on. Oh, how's that?
Oh, that's much better.
Yeah,
That's the sound
okay.
of silence. My favourite.
Yeah, I think Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, the founder of modern-day Turkey.
Well, do you want to explain that? Why
Yes,
he
I
should go on
will.
the list?
Well, I think he should be on the list because because he modernised Turkey, he made Turkey a republic, he brought Turkey into the 20th century, he declared that he was very magnanimous to the Greeks when, during the War of Independence, he expelled the Greeks from Turkey. He was very magnanimous, there was no revenge. He modernised Turkey into a modern-day society, he changed the language, he changed the alphabet, he brought in better education. He westernised Turkey, took away the old style of clothing and basically modernised it into Western clothing. And during his 15 years as president, his policy was peace at home, peace abroad. There was never any wars during his reign. He kept Turkey out of the Second World War. On his deathbed, he basically told his successor, who I believe was Inanu, that Turkey should not, under any circumstances, enter the Second World War on the side of Germany, because that was the mistake it made in the first place. And because of modern-day Turkey's standing in the world, I think that what he's done, from an Ottoman Empire to a republic, he's modernised a country and has brought his people into the 20th century.
That was a very comprehensive answer, and it was a compelling argument. He's not going on the list, mate, but thanks a lot anyway. All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers, ta-da. As soon as I do a show in Turkey, then he'll get on the list. Attaboy, Ataturk. That's what they used to say. Much better than the guy who followed him, Nanu. Here's one in Elstree. Oh, Blanche.
Yep, it's me.
Yes, Blanche.
Hi, Nick.
Blanche.
Well, first of all, scrub
Pardon?
Gandhi.
What's that?
Scrub Gandhi.
Scrub Gandhi.
Because if he hadn't been such a weak-lead pacifist, Pakistan would never have been created, India would never have been divided, and millions of people would have been alive.
Right, all his
You
fault
can
then.
Scrub him.
Okay, righto.
I'm voting for George Bush coupled with Tony Blair.
Absolutely.
100%. Because, and you're going to want to know why.
Why?
George Bush, you read the news, will tell Putin to get stuffed.
He won't.
We're telling terrorists to get stuffed. Someone has to have the guts to do it. George Bush and Tony Blair have had the guts.
Right.
So
it's
our lives
no end of
depend
controversy
on them.
from you.
It's
yeah,
not
I know.
free travel.
Isn't that scary? But okay, I'll investigate further and take advice on that. All right. Thanks a lot, Blanche.
Bye.
Keep on keeping on. Will you do that for me? Bush and Putin plan main summit. Two crazies staring into each other's eyes, seeing which one will blink first. The US-Russian relations are under heavy strain with President Bush and President Vladimir Putin. They're going to meet on July the 1st. July the 2nd, the world is due to end. They'll be wrestling each other to the ground. Putin will ask him a series of in-depth questions, and Bush will say, guess how many butlers we're short of in the world?
More guessing?
Yeah, why not?
I don't know. Hello?
2 million. Isn't that a staggering figure? We are 2 million butlers short.
How did they come up with this figure? Who came up with this figure? Come on.
They used a calculator. This is entirely accurate.
Of course.
The world's richest people are facing a crisis of unprecedented proportions, a chronic shortage of butlers. I didn't realise that there was really such a market for butlers anymore. Do people still buttle? Apparently so. The demand for a new generation of Jeeves and Hudsons from London to Dubai, and especially from the Hamptons to Malibu, is so high that it is being counted in the, millions. If we doubled the number of butlers, they wouldn't be out of work, said a guy who is vice chairman of something called the International Guild of Professional Butlers. What people mostly want in the Hamptons and elsewhere is an English butler, he said. It's the very English calmness in the face of adversity. Are we calm?
We're hearing a puff.
Well, don't be so hard on yourself.
What's the name of the guy from the International School of Butlering called?
He was called, it was the International Guild of Professional Butlers.
So they wouldn't have a vested interest in this statistic at all.
I don't know. I don't know whether he's a puff. What the information that you have on this, I can't question. What they mostly want in the Hamptons and elsewhere is an English butler, he said. It's that very English calmness in the face of adversity. See, I'm calm. I read the same sentence twice. Doesn't affect me at all. The boom in demand for butlers, female and male, has been building over the past decade and is attributed to the increase in the number of dot-com millionaires. There's another thing I didn't think there was anymore. I mean, I know Sergey Brin and the other fella from Google. I know they've made a ton of money, but I didn't think that, I thought the dot-com boom had come and gone. And no one had been enriched by it financially. They all lost everything, really, didn't they? But apparently we're in a second wave of that. A butler, or a household manager, as they're increasingly known in the United States, can expect a salary in Britain of about 30 grand, which is about a third more than the national average. Although in America, some are getting £250,000. The highest paid is reputed to earn £1.5 million a year to bottle. We are totally in the wrong job. What are we doing here? Wasting our lives. We could be just saying, very good, sir. Very good, sir. Just calmly, I mean, whether you're, inside your brain, you could be going, but as long as you can present a calm exterior, it's worth £1.5 million. Just saying, very good, sir. I could do that. There are estimated to be up to 5,000 butlers in Britain. That's amazing. 5,000 butlers in Britain. I mean, don't you think of butlers as being sort of upstairs, downstairs, and from a bygone age, particularly in this country? I mean, you can understand that people who've got more money than they know what to do with in America would have somebody run their giant houses, but who's got enough money to have a butler, or enough space to warrant it in this country? 5,000 of them there are. And the problem is, the reason that there are in such short supply is that there is a reluctance among young people to choose it as a career. Well, you could earn £1.5 million saying, very good, sir. Be reluctant no more. What are you searching for? This is like a blizzard of flashing lights. It's like watching a Pink Floyd gig over here.
I've got a caller on the air who wants details about the Biggin Hill International Airfair, which is for the
weekend.
Yep, for this weekend, and we are media partners with it, so I'm looking up to give the caller some details.
But she's hung up. Have you noticed?
Yes, I have.
That's very considerate of you. What, so people can call up with anything they like, and you'll rush to the pewter and look it up for them?
Yeah, if I'm in a good mood, I'll do it for them. If I'm not, I'll say, so I'm too busy.
Let me see that Trevor McDonald thing. I'm calling up, asking for some information. Let's see how far I get. Sir Trevor McDonald is to dabble in the world of, are you ready? Comedy.
Oh, no.
When he presents ITV's new satirical comedy series, News Night. That's night with a K. See, that's where the funny comes in. The series is set to start airing in June, just days away, with the veteran news anchor hosting the show with comedian Marcus Brigstock. Who's that?
He's a comedian.
I'll be the judge of that. And two other well-known, in inverted commas, comics will change each week. This sort of rings a bell, really, doesn't it? So a news-based quiz that's got comics on a panel. That's amazing. Nobody's thought of that before. Sir Trevor stepped down from his role of anchor on ITN News in 2005 after more than 30 years in the job. Did you ever really understand his popularity? I mean, I know that people just absolutely love him, but I could never really understand why.
Look at the last paragraph.
Last paragraph, rightio. He is clearly looking forward to the role, saying, I'm looking forward to hosting this show as it will give me the chance to approach the news headlines from another perspective. He continued, I've been part of the news at ITV for over 30 years now, and this new show will let me show viewers another side to my personality. Well, that's excellent, because previously we didn't think he had one. Because the job involves sitting down, reading what somebody else has written. You don't need a personality to be a news presenter. In fact, it's a hindrance, which will, and the evidence for that is, when's the out, by the way?
Oh, not far now. About 10 seconds.
10 seconds. And the evidence of this is the BBC Breakfast News. They've made them have personalities on the BBC Breakfast News, and it's so annoying I spit porridge across the living room on a daily basis.
Imagine.
I'm sitting in for Paul Ross. Paul Ross is in America. He's doing the Ghosts and the Ghoulies for more money than you could shake a stick at. Hoping beyond hope that American television is going to pick it up, and we all wish him the very best. He's going to be back on Monday. Who's doing Saturday morning?
Very good question.
I'll keep him coming.
Anthony Davis, I think.
Ah, excellent choice. Epsom, O'Brien.
Hi there, Nick.
Brian.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Oh, nice to hear you.
Suggestion for someone who's enhanced our lives. That's John Logie Baird, the inventor of the TV.
He didn't invent the TV.
So
are you sure about that, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, there's been some dispute about Baird inventing the TV and Marconi, etc., dealing with two separate systems. But certainly, he's named as the father of television.
I'll give him that.
Yeah. Okay. That's an excellent way of getting around that argument, Brian. Well done, mate. All right, John.
Where would the housewives of today be without their Coronation Street EastEnders and the fellas without their Lost and their Heroes?
Yeah, and we'd be standing actually at football matches watching it instead of in the squalor of our own lounge. Yeah, you're quite right. All right, thanks a lot, Brian. He's on the list.
Thanks.
Cheers, mate.
Bye.
We're making a list of people who have enriched our lives. Got any choices in there, or is it just a great sea of negativity swirling around?
We love our negativity in here. We think that Nipov was the man that invented mechanical scanning and not John Logie Baird. He just stole the idea. But there you go.
Nipov?
Yeah, that's some Russian guy.
Oh, well, forget it then.
Probably a Vladimir. They're always Vladimir, aren't they, in Russia?
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah, that's an actual fact, that is, yeah. So far, people who have enriched our lives, it's a very controversial list, this one. Mr. Crapper, the chap who did or didn't invent the inside toilet. Florence Nightingale, somebody even objected to her. How can you object to Florence Nightingale? Sir Freddie Laker, no one has raised a finger of complaint there. The chap who invented soft toilet paper, because let's face it, without him, we'd be using that stuff that has the absorbency of cling film. And if you can remember back that far, to things that used to come as individual sheets from a dispenser in, municipal buildings. Hideous. Bill Gates, of course, why not? Marconi, who did or did not invent the radar or the radio or what did he invent? You used to work there.
What, Marconi?
Yeah, don't they, give you information, like sheets, to clue you into the history of the company when you go and work there?
Yes, it was all blah, 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 though. I was a kid, I was 16 years old, I didn't want to know about what Marconi was up to.
Don't they investigate your past as well? Don't they tap your phone?
Yes,
and,
you have to sign the Official Secrets Act, which I have done. So
oh, yeah, me too. Yeah, but I don't pay any attention to that. I
worked on a very controversial system that I can't tell you about on the radio.
Oh, go on.
It didn't work. It was to enable the Army and the Navy, or the armed forces, to talk to each other on a common system.
What, like a telephone?
No, it's kind of radio system, but they spent millions and millions and it didn't work.
Of our money? And it still didn't work?
Didn't work, no. Whoopsie.
Double whoopsie, actually, because you signed the Official Secrets Act and you just told us everything they asked you not to tell.
Looks like I won't be going home then,
No, well, you'll be going home, but it'll be exploding on arrival, yeah. Your parents. People have enriched our lives. Mr. Benz, who did or did not invent the motor car, we don't really know. Comical Ali is in brackets, even though he was amusing. I mean, Bugs Bunny is amusing, but he's not getting on the list. Walt Disney, I suppose so. Faraday, for either inventing or not, we've got no idea. We're just making this stuff up now. Mr. Ford, for popularising the motor car and making it available to people who weren't trillionaires. Gandhi, which is apparently also a controversial choice, and John Logie Baird. None of them stand out, really. I mean, you'd have to say that if you took one out of the list that would affect us most today, it would be Bill Gates. And if you took his invention out of the list, it would have a greater impact on us than any others, am I right? I mean, you can do without TV, but can we do without modern communication? Can we do without emails and the internet and you know, where else would you download all those episodes of Sopranos before they've been shown in this country? Not that I'm suggesting that anybody's actually doing that, or that it would be the right thing to do. So, is there any hint of something positive coming from through the way there? People who have enriched our lives?
People who have enriched our lives?
Yeah.
You see, I don't... there often aren't individual people that have enriched our lives. They're collegiate events, aren't they? Things happen, and then somebody takes an idea, somebody moves an idea on, don't they?
Yeah.
So that's why there's all that controversy about Marconi and John Logie Baird, because there's one single person.
But I think that these people do stand in for whatever invention it is that
they stand for the father of or the mother of. Yeah,
right. So Mr. Ford and Mr. Benz, they can be in there, whether they actually invented it or not. They will stand in for everybody all of the people in the back room. Yeah, all of the producers and the makeup artists and the dressers and all of those people that they thank at the Oscars. They don't really want to thank them, and they probably wouldn't let them within 10 feet of their trailer. But these are, unless they say thank you to absolutely everybody, then you never know who you're going to offend in this business. Because the people who are the most unlikely types are the ones who will eventually be your boss.
Are you trying to tell me that this is your act?
A survey has just revealed the British food product that has had the biggest impact on worldwide cuisine. I hear your mind is racing. A British food product that's had the biggest impact on worldwide cuisine. Now, if I had to come up with something, I would say tomato sauce. I don't really know whether that's a British food product or not. We grow them here. Why not? Tomato sauce. Apparently not. Worcester sauce. Whoever uses Worcester sauce? I mean, apart from a Bloody Mary, when was the last time you had one of those? I could go with a couple of pints of that right now myself. Its use in Bloody Mary cocktails and uniquely British taste helped the sauce hit the #1 spot, according to... Here we go again, it's another satellite TV channel who desperately wants us to mention them on the air. Worcester sauce is the British food product that has had the biggest impact on worldwide cuisine. I doubt anyone outside this country uses Worcester sauce outside of a bar. What uses are... What do you use it for, apart from putting in a drink? It's in the cupboard, and it stays in the cupboard for year upon endless year, until you look at the label and find that you should have actually thrown it away 2 years ago, because what do you use it for? Cheddar cheese came second in the list, followed by Yorkshire pudding, clotted cream, and black pudding. Speaking of somebody who's just recently started eating meat again, I haven't gone that far. That's a step too far for me, so for black pudding. I won't even eat ordinary sausages. Black pudding, that's just congealed blood, right? How can anybody even think about eating that, let alone put it in their mouths? Congealed blood wrapped in a... Oh.
Blood and fat, isn't it? Together. Lovely.
UK TV Foods deputy editor said the survey showed that there was still a great passion for Britain's culinary heritage. Well, apparently not. I mean, these things are a repellent, apart from the cheddar cheese, which is... Black pudding and Worcester sauce. That doesn't really say much about us, does it? Other than we like food that's black. Although British... and my tummy is rumbling, just as I'm reading this. It's thinking, ooh, food, it's dinner time. Although British eating habits now extend to global cuisines, right now, if you go out for a meal, then British food is almost the last thing you'll eat, isn't it? It'll be Thai and Chinese and Indian and Mexican and Italian and American, and British food is almost non-existent on the high street. It's apparently a real triumph that classic favourites have pride of place on our plates, she said. So, how can clotted cream have had an impact on worldwide cuisine? We don't even eat that. You'd have to go to Fortnum's and order high tea to get served clotted cream. This is a silly list. This is just so that people will mention UK TV food. 6th place, English mustard, followed by scones, salad cream, mint sauce and jellied eels. This is a silly list. How can clotted cream be above scones, by the way? I mean, you can have scones without clotted cream, but clotted cream doesn't go with anything else. It's cream with lumps in. Which is, well, it's a repellent thought, really. So, a word of explanation. Everyone has left the building. Jenny's gone, Ian's gone, Paul's gone. Have I missed anyone? There's no one left. And so it's we're playing musical chairs at the moment. Paul's gone to America. He's doing a Ghost and Ghoulies show in prison in Philadelphia. And if they let him out and pour money all over him, then presumably he'll never be coming back. Although he is scheduled to reappear on Monday. Paul's going to be back on Monday. I'm Nick Abbott in for him today and tomorrow, and then on Friday I'm going to be not Ian Lee. And the confusion continues. Did you see this thing about CD Wow, which is a phenomenally successful site because it sells the CDs significantly cheaper than you can get them elsewhere? The era of super cheap CDs on the internet could be over after a high court in London ordered one of the biggest retailers of discounted albums to pay the music industry £41 million. I can't really get my head around this, whether what their complaint is and how the law is upholding the complaint of the record companies. They've been found guilty of illegally importing CDs from Asia into Europe. Now, since when is it illegal to import anything from Asia that's not actually against the law? I mean, you can't import heroin, for instance. But if CDs are available in Asia, why, I don't really... There's no other product that I can think of that it would be illegal to import from Asia. And they're making it illegal just because the record industry says so. As though they're the ones that run the law. They've been found guilty, and the company, which is based in Hong Kong, frequently sells chart albums for under £7, compared to about £10 that rivals charge, which is why they're so very successful. Its low prices have attracted a legion of loyal shoppers, me among them, making it the third most popular site to buy music after Amazon and Play. However, its practice of shipping in cheap CDs designed for the Asian market has enraged the UK music industry, which seems to be in a perpetual state of enragement. They're always upset about something or other. It's their failure is always somebody else's fault. You know, they're way overstaffed, and they've got no interesting product to speak of, or precious little of it, and they're making no money at all, and they're all buying each other up, and their woes are being blamed on some company that's importing CDs to sell them for £2 less than you get on another site. Jeff Taylor of the BPI, that's the British Phonographic Industries chief executive. Oh, the BPI, aren't those people that used to give out stickers that hippies used to put on their record cases, or their guitar cases, that used to say, "Taping is killing music"? Isn't that those people? Illegal imports of this kind, he says, undermine the huge investments made by business here in homegrown music talent. CD Wow claimed that it was being treated unfairly and that consumers would lose out, which is right. It's vowed to fight yesterday's ruling, saying that it will take the matter to the European courts and carry on selling cheap CDs to British shoppers. Hurrah! It shouldn't matter whether we're buying from an official distributor in the UK, Europe, or the Far East. What is important is that we're buying legitimate products from the record companies themselves, said the chief executive of CD Wow. I can't think of a single other product, can you, that it is illegal to import from another country just because the manufacturers of that product don't want you to. Can you think of anything else that's like that?
It's to do with the copyright, isn't it? And the copyright acts in different countries being different. And the Asian one kind of being a better act, actually, because you get a better deal if you're a consumer in Asia, aren't you? And we've got a rotten act, haven't we, that takes all the money from us.
Part of Rip Off Britain.
Rip Off Britain.
Yeah. And despite the obvious benefit of the internet, we're still being ripped off left, right and centre. We are mug punters in this country.
We love being ripped off. I travel on the most expensive trains in the world.
Yes, it's exactly
And they
right.
never run on time.
No.
And I love it. It's great. I love paying that money to the railway company.
The other thing that I find outrageous is that they've made up their minds that DVDs that you buy in America are illegal to play on your machine that you buy in this country. Don't you find that to be an outrage?
What are they going to do to stop you? They're going to come around your house and check your DVD collection?
Well, they insist that you buy a machine that only plays DVDs from the country that you bought it in, which is an outrage. But manufacturers have got around this. But if you buy if you buy a cheaper DVD, then usually it will only play discs that you buy in your own country.
There's plenty of multi-regional DVD players now, though.
Yeah, that's right. But if the new high-def ones, they're doing the same thing over again, but with a more secure way of ensuring that you only buy inflated DVDs with an inflated price in this country, because always in this country, DVDs it doesn't matter where they're made. The economy of scale has got nothing to do with it. They're always more expensive than in America. I'm outraged on your behalf.
But don't worry, someone will crack it before too long. They always do, don't they?
That's right. Yeah.
Did you notice the inflation tables that are in the papers today?
I did. I don't think I brought those with me.
The UK is year-on-year food inflation is 6% compared to a European average of 2.5%. That's from April 2006 and April this year. Up 6%. Energy is up 7.9% compared to a European average of, wait for this, 0.4%. And overall inflation is 2.8% compared to a European average of 1.9%.
Well, at least we're going to have a housing crash, so that's something to look forward to.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Rents have gone up staggeringly, apparently, because the whole buy-to-let thing is about to come crashing around people's heads. This is a pretty worrying story for anybody who's actually bought into property. Buy-to-let landlords are increasing rents at an almost unprecedented rate as interest rate rises threaten to send their investments into the red. So they buy all these properties that they can't actually afford, hoping beyond hope that somebody's going to come in and rent them, which will cover their mortgage payments, which they took out when interest rates were at a much smaller percentage than they are now, and even smaller than they're going to be. And so when their mortgage payments go up, the rents aren't covering it, and so now they're having to increase the rents, and it's a kind of a black cloud that's hanging over all of us. In the latest sign that the market is under acute strain, research shows that landlords are pushing up rents at the fastest and most sustained rate in at least 9 years. It comes after the Bank of England raised borrowing costs for the fourth time in less than a year. The news also surfaces amid concerns of a shortage of houses and a glut of flats. That's right, they keep throwing up these blocks of flats that are...
luxury apartments.
Oh, yeah, executive luxury apartments, yeah, you're right, that have a living room that's only wide enough to get a sofa and a painting on the other wall.
And a flat-screen TV. Not a big one, flat screen.
Yeah, this is why they invented flat-screen TVs, because no one's got any room in their living room anymore. You're quite right. And they haven't got any cupboards, and the front room looks like a corridor, less than a room. And the spare bedroom will be the size of, well, a matchbox would be being kind. And all along the Thames, they're all exactly the same. And I'm back from the Thames now. Every block of flats that's being built in this country is not being built. It's almost like they're building flats for rabbits. They're minute, and nobody wants to live in them. Surprise, surprise! Everyone wants a house. There's no houses. There's too many flats, and we're in a property sense, we're doomed.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's right, Carol, yes. We're doing a list of the people who have enriched our lives. Sutton O'Solomon.
Nick, how you doing, sir?
I'm all right, thanks.
Do you think the owner of CD Well will invite our wonderful Golden Brown for a weekend away just to butter him up a bit?
I miss almost everything you just said, I'm afraid. What was that?
Well, you know the CD Well?
The CD Well thing, yeah.
Right, do you think he would invite our Prime Minister in waiting, Golden Brown, just to butter him up a bit so that they can carry on their business?
Yes, to whatever it is you just said, yeah. Undoubtedly, yes, absolutely. As soon as he's crushed the Rebel Alliance, Gordon will be all over it. I think you...
Is he in New York?
No, sir.
They found you, mate.
It's Park Street. It's here. There's a fire going on somewhere. Anyway, what I was going to say is, I can't believe everyone's missed this, to go on your list. The Wright brothers.
The Wright brothers. Yeah, we've got Sir Freddie Laker on the list. Let's go back in time and have the Wright brothers, where it all began. Yeah, quite right, too.
And Frank Whittle, who pushed the design further and faster.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Design the engine.
Absolutely. All right. Good choice there, Solomon. Thanks a lot, mate.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
All right, ta-da. And you heard it here first, by the way. There's a fire on Park Street. Avoid it at your leisure. I think that's where he said it was. Croydon. Eckham.
Hello there.
Eckham.
Hi, Nick.
Yes, Eckham.
I would like to nominate Borat for that list of yours.
People who have enriched our lives.
Yeah, exactly, because he has enriched us about Kazakhstan. You can't deny that. I mean,
He's,
so much about Kazakhstan we know now.
Yeah, he's put it on the map, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And he also has enriched us about those nasty Americans as well.
Oh, those nasty Americans, yeah, all 260 million of them, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, all of them, how about, what they think about the world, especially.
The thing that struck me about that film was how, it's not, because it's, on the surface, it looks as though he's gone out to make Americans look stupid, but I don't think that's what he achieved at all. It is a properly hilarious film, but what I think he made Americans look was unfailingly polite and charming in the face of intense provocation.
Well, they did try to call the police on him, and he had
who wouldn't?
The house and everything.
I mean, if he handed you a small bag of his own product at the dinner table, I think I'd call the police too. I think he did it in the state of Texas, didn't he? He's lucky not to have been shot. But anyway, Borat, you say, on a list of people who have enriched our lives. Well, Florence Nightingale is in there, Gandhi is in there, Borat, absolutely, yes, he fits right in. I'll write him down. You said that you had a couple of suggestions in there as well.
Well...
Yes.
The two guys that invented Google.
Oh, Sergey and...
the other bloke, yeah.
We can never remember the other bloke's name.
No,
Sergey Brin and...
Hershey, I don't know, can't remember.
Hershey's Adventures of Tintin, yeah.
Oh, that's the one.
That guy.
But it
Sergey
does.
And...
It did. Brilliant idea.
Yes, although there is a bit of there's a Google backlash now. Of course, you get successful, and people start to wonder why. They start to think, well, they have the phrase "Don't be evil" as their logo, not logo, but their
strapline.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
their motto.
But how uneval are they?
Well, they have done. What's the thing they did in China? They did allow the Chinese government to fiddle with it, didn't they?
That's right, yeah. They cooperated with the Chinese government to set up a site that would not take people to websites that the Chinese government doesn't want you to look at, which doesn't sound very uneval to me.
Or enriching, really.
Yeah, quite right too, yeah. But they've become part of the lexicon. Now, you don't do a search on the net now, you Google things. Now we know what 10 with 100 zeros after it is. If you ever are on Mastermind, and that will be your £1 million question. In fact, that was a £1 million question on Mastermind. One of the only questions I've ever got right on that. Not Mastermind,
Millionaire?
Millionaire, yeah. Who wants to be a millionaire?
What's the answer, anyway?
It's a Google.
It's a Google?
Yeah, that's where Google comes from. It's 10 with 100 zeros after it. It's a Google. Not a million, or a billion, or a trillion, or whatever is in between. But right at the end there, it's a Google. If you've learnt nothing else from this show, you've learnt nothing else from this show. And that's an actual fact. All of these people that we're going to call back, you're going to call them back, or what? Martin? Got bags of time. Again, with the dripping sarcasm. You were just doing so well chatting, he said. I'm being bathed in your sarcasm. So far, Mr. Crapper, Florence Nightingale, Sir Freddie Laker, the person who invented soft toilet paper, Bill Gates, Marconi, who did or did not invent radar, we've got no idea. Your parents, in a list of people who have enriched our lives. Mr. Benz, Comical Ali, no. Walt Disney, yes. Faraday, Mr. Ford, Gandhi, John Logie Baird, the Wright brothers, naturally, Borat, and Sergey and the other fella, the Google people. Shall I wait?
He's nearly there.
Go on then, there's a caller for you.
Woohoo! Southend. Hello, Mark.
Hello, yeah, I can't remember his first name, but his surname's Bazalgette, the creator of London's Sewer System.
That's Peter Bazalgette, the Endemol founder, is he talking about, or his great-grandfather?
It might be his great-grandfather.
Right. Well, either way, they were both in the business of
pumping poo.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I was just going to leave it hanging, but you finished the sentence for me. Good grief. Okay. Yes. Without him, we would be stuffed.
In the crap.
I'm the only decent one on this show. Thanks a lot, Mark. Cheers, mate.
Bye.
Okay. There's more. I know there is. Trixie. Hey, Trixie.
Hi.
Trixie.
Is there space or not?
Is there space? There is always space for you, dear.
Hello. Oh, sorry. Oh, God. Hello. Sorry.
Calm down.
You won something. You've given us something.
Commercial. Hello. No, panicking about my computer. My screen went down.
Oh, really? I'm taking Bill Gates off the list.
Yes, absolutely.
We can only take so much.
Yes, precisely. However, I do have a person, but I don't know if he'd qualify.
Really? Lay it on me, baby.
All right, then. How about Gene Roddenberry? He's the creator of Star Trek.
Yeah, that's
who
right.
Inspired young people of the 1960s to become scientists and to become inventors. In fact, Bill Gates wouldn't have actually watched Star Trek, but Star Trek was the influence. That's the reason we've got computers. So I think that Gene Roddenberry, if it comes to technology, has done a lot for our society.
I'm surprised that there aren't more people from the world of entertainment on this list. You'd have thought that would be front of mind.
Precisely. Well, Gene Roddenberry has created the Star Trek did spawn a huge industry, the Star Trek industry, which I think, is just about fizzled out, but it's going to go on forever on satellite television
and seems to be inventing. Well, perhaps these things would have been invented anyway, but it's led scientists towards certain inventions. One of which they've just come up with is the ability to put us out for months on end.
Well, yeah.
There's a lot of people who are going to be hibernating during the course of the next couple of months, while Big Brother is the only thing that will be in your popular entertainment.
True.
Yeah.
But you see, we've got other inventions which came from Star Trek, and we can all. The new scientists are they're trying to invent holographic decks or holodecks, so that we can actually entertain ourselves away from Big Brother.
Oh, yes.
Like that.
Well, that's
anyway,
what I'll be doing.
I think he deserves a mention. Apart from David Attenborough. Oh, you knew that was going to come up eventually.
No, I didn't actually. But I think David Attenborough is less a person who's enriched our lives than the poor types who have to go out with a camera and sit waist deep in sewage trying to photograph a zebra as it comes by.
What life is.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. All right, Gene Roddenberry. Thanks a lot, Trixie.
Thank you.
Cheers,
Bye.
my dear. Ta-ta. Any of these others?
Jade Goody?
Jade Goody? No, I'm not even going to write that down. Not even write it down and cross it out.
Isn't it obvious?
It is not obvious, no. Sergei and, what's his name? Gene Roddenberry, Borat, and the Wright brothers, and the Whittle fella with the...
Chantal and Preston?
No, not Chantal and Preston. I thought you had some serious ones a little while ago. You put your finger in the air, maybe it was you needed to be excused.
Yeah.
Oh, it was just that. Dicky Tummy. Right, you've been eating in the canteen again, haven't you? It's delicious. I'll take this, I'll take one in Heathrow. Oh, Lee? Lee?
Hello there.
Yes, Lee.
How you doing?
I'm alright, mate.
Good stuff. I've got one for you.
Go ahead.
What about video games? The Atari?
The bloke who invented video games?
Yeah. Keep the lads entertained on a weeknight when there's nothing on TV.
Right. Okay, good choice. He's in just at the last. Well done, Lee. Thanks a lot, mate. This is LBC. I'm Nick Abbott. I've been in for Paul Ross. Paul Ross comes back Monday. We've been doing a list called... which is of the subject of the people that have enriched our lives. And of this list, it must be your parents. Ah, that's the popular choice, isn't it? Can you believe that I went through the whole show with almost no mention of Big Brother?
Oh, fabulous.